light source right. Got my green juice. Shout out to Walmart, great value. But this is a topic that I had to come outside for. One, because you guys know I don't have any software editing equipment or anything like that. At least not really. My laptop sucks, so I gotta do things the best way I know how. Two, it's hot as hell in California right now. I can't remember what the degrees were at, but it's kind of heated out here. But what's even more of an issue, what's even more hotter than this California heat is this topic we're going to speak on. Now, I want to give a shout out to Ernesto Jr. From the show Button Check. On his channel, you guys can check that out. I want to give a shout out to Mugen Lord from Mugen Lord TV. I want to give a shout out to Low Tier God for calling out the individual. And a lot of people, all of a sudden nut hugging him, when they was just booing the man and cursing his ass out like just as much as last night. But regardless of the fact, what's done in the dark has come to light, and that always seems to be the case with situations like this, right? So the topic of discussion is this cosplayer by the name of Momokun, and she's a famous cosplayer, a well-known cosplayer. I don't know how famous she is, but because I'm not really that deep into cosplays, but there have been several situations that have come to light that she has been accused of doing in the past, and I think even recently, where she has sexually harassed several other cosplayers and touched them inappropriately. There was even a video of a guy where her grabbing a dude's. It seemed like she was like interviewing one guy, and she was interviewing another cosplayer, and there was this dude just I guess he was talking to a friend or something, and she just walked up and just grabbed his ass, and the dude turned around, and I guess he felt so offended that he just walked off, and he didn't even do anything else. But somebody came forward and spoke out against her actions, and then several other people, they felt like, since they weren't alone in the situation, they decided to speak up. And me, I always have like a unique outlook when it comes to things like this, because I think I go deep in detail more so than other people. Not to try to put myself up on a pedestal or anything like that, but I honestly think I do. I think a while back, I can't remember what video it was, but I kind of touched on a topic similar to this when it came to the unfair treatment and the favoritism, I think, in like the Twitch community, and how I talked about how things are starting to be over-sexualized by people who don't really care about the community. They're just trying to capitalize off the popularity of the community that's there. And then you have the companies that these people are taking advantage of start catering to people who never cared about the community to begin with. Like, for example, like when YouTube first got started, obviously it wasn't the way it is today. A lot of people, you guys are like new YouTubers who started YouTubing like 5-6 years ago. There's people that's been doing this since the beginning of YouTube, and even a little bit after YouTube first got started. It was a very mundane, simple website where you just upload like your funny videos or your creative videos. I remember when YouTube was only like a white dude, a corny white dude just dancing. And now you look at it now, people are playing video games on YouTube and on Twitch and all these other websites that have grown because of a certain community decided to come together and try to make something for themselves. But the downside to that, and this is always the case with every community, that you're going to have people, you're going to have a demographic that are going to sit idly by and wait until the community that built itself around like certain activities, they wait until that community gets to a certain level, and then they come in with all this over-sexualized shit, you know what I mean? And I think Momokun, she kind of fits that description, because obviously, they got people out there who, have a hard time going like crazy. They got people out there who, have a hard time getting, spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, and things like that. So to substitute for that, they'll pay these cosplayers to do these like provocative photos, and they'll buy them from them, and that acts as like a supplemental income for the cosplayer. Basically like they're getting paid to do sexualized content under the table. You know what I mean? Because if that type of stuff were to get out, I don't think it would really hurt them, especially in today's atmosphere when it comes to like cosplays and things like that. But still, like it would be frowned upon. You know what I mean? Because it brings a certain look to the community that I don't think the other people within the community that actually built the community up for the sake of themselves and others similar to them would appreciate. So just looking at it, you remember when let me take it back to YouTube again. When YouTube first got started and people started playing video games on YouTube, it wasn't that many people doing that. Once people started to see like there was like this popularity thing where people would make vlogs and play video games on YouTube, there was this certain demographic of females, and I swear it was a certain demographic of females that just came out of nowhere that would, how can I put it? Like they would like post their camera up and have it up like this, and they still do this to this day, and like try to show their cleavage. Me as a man, I don't have anything right here, so what I'm saying, I can't demonstrate properly the way I'm trying to convey this message. But they would point the camera up right here and try to like show. Basically, it was like softcore. You know, um, themselves as like they would try to sexualize themselves as much as possible within the confines to where it wouldn't be considered, and basically try to snatch viewership like that because they didn't have any actual talent. They'll just be talking regularly like I'm talking about right now, but they'll have their titties out, and that would attract a certain group of male viewers, and hell, even female viewers. They would come there just to get a peek, you know what I mean? And even though that has pretty much died down, it's still going on, but it's not as like rampant as it was at one point. Even when you look at Twitch, Twitch was just a regular website where people went to play video games when it first came out. You know what I mean? Of course, it was Justin.tv at first, and then it changed to Twitch. Like they rebranded themselves for the sake of being a website that caters to video game live streamers and things like that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was this, this rush of sexualized content that came out of nowhere. Where I think the first incident of this, I don't know if it was during like the PS3 days or if it was like during like the first PS4 release, but it was a situation where I think a person, they had like sex on like webcam, on like their console webcam or something like that. I know some of y'all remember that situation, and then they got their account banned or something like that. And then after that, like not too long after that, I would say like a year or so after that situation, you had, of course, the females, the cam girls, the ones who try to label themselves as female gamers and shit like that. They came out of nowhere and started, of course, over-sexualizing content to the point where Twitch, they actually seen the traffic they were getting from that and they wanted to keep it. So they made an IRL section on their website specifically for those people. Of course, to be used as like, for people that's vlogging on the go and things like that. But of course, things like that are going to be taken advantage of, especially about people who want to, who can't do anything else but over-sexualize themselves in that nature. And the same thing goes with the cosplaying community. And I think Momokun, she fits right there in that demographic. Because when you see the way that she's dressed at a lot of these events, and it's many people doing this now, and I think it kind of brings a black eye to the community of cosplayers that see that and they don't want no parts of that. I'm not, dressing up as a character to try to be over-sexualized with it. I'm just dressing up as the character because I like the video game, I may like the anime, you know what I'm saying? I think I can do a good cosplay with this character, you know what I'm saying? And even when you have situations where, you have people who want to dress up as characters, because in a lot of these games of anime, let's face it, a lot of these female characters are very sexualized and things like that. They will still try to alter the costume to where they're not specifically trying to dress like that in public because they respect themselves a little bit more. But then you got other females who be like, oh well, it's just a cosplay. I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not going to alter it, It's basically their opportunity to go out hoeing. And the only reason why I bring that up is because, when you see that and you correspond that to today's atmosphere where sexual harassment is that's like a serious thing. But these days it's like women, if a woman does something like that in comparison to when a man does it, the woman wouldn't get any type of punishment. So it's good to see that when this came out, news came out, she lost like, I think like several sponsorships that she had. And I don't know, I can't remember the name. See, this is when having like a good laptop that can like do video edits, this would really come in handy. But I can't remember the name of the guild. I don't know if it was like the cosplaying guild community or something like that, but they dropped her from one of the sponsorships that they gave her. So forgive me if I don't get the name right. But yeah, several companies dropped her. Several companies and communities that had sponsorships for her ended up dropping her. And then she released like some weird ass video, some lame ass excuse talking about how she got ADHD, and when she would see ass, she would just grab it. Like, I didn't listen to the whole video because it just seemed like basically it was just damage control. It didn't seem like a genuine, apology type deal. It just seemed like she was just trying to cover her ass to try to prevent anything else from happening to her. But yeah, it's a subject where, I'm happy that something happened. My thing is, why do we have to wait until last minute? I've had situations where I seen females get sexually harassed, and I asked them why didn't they say anything, because they just felt like they wasn't obliged. Like, why is it embedded in your head to where if a female sexually harasses you, as a woman, if another female sexually harasses you, you feel like you don't, like you're not obligated to say anything, or you just gonna, ignore saying anything, as opposed where if a man does it, or say like me, a black man does it, like the wrath of God will be brought down on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like the double standard that, it's okay if a woman does it, but it's not okay if a man does it. But we all out here yelling out equality and all this other shit. It's just like, it's all it's conflicting with each other. To where we gotta iron out everything and get where we need to go so that shit like this won't happen again. Like I said, with Momokun, I think she got what she deserved. Well, I don't think she got everything that she deserved, but as far as the companies that decided they wanted to drop her for all the sexual harassment allegations and, the video footage that was out of her doing these things, she would go behind certain female cosplayers and try to like act like she was lifting up their shirt or touching them inappropriately and things like there's video footage of her doing this stuff. So it's not like people just saying it. There's video evidence of you doing it. You know what I mean? So it's a subject that I don't like talking on, because as a man, if somebody did that to you, it's a piece of you that feels like, like for whatever reason, America has embedded this ideology that anything that's over sexualized, a man just wants it. It's okay that it happens to him. They don't realize that certain men, like myself, if somebody's in a relationship, right, the last thing they want is somebody just feeling up on them like that. You know what I mean? Because one, it violates the trust of, well, I wouldn't say it violates the trust, but it's like you're not respecting that person's personal space. And what if that person's spouse was there and they would have knocked your ass out? You know what I mean? Like, for example, what if those girls who you sexually harassed, who Momokun sexually harassed, was there? You know what I'm saying? It's 2018, so these girls got girlfriends these days. But what if their significant other, you know what I'm saying, was there and seen you doing that? The first reaction would be they would knock your ass out. You know what I mean? What if that boyfriend was there? You'd probably choke your ass out for even doing some shit like that. You know what I mean? So if you're willing to sit there and cry wolf anytime somebody does something against you for doing things like that, why would you do it in the first place? Why? Because you think you're just supposed to get away with it? I mean, you've been getting away with it for so long, why stop? Ain't nobody said it now, right? But it's just one of those things where I just think it sucks that it took this long and for somebody to actually say something, and then it's like like this domino effect. Once somebody says something, then other people says something, but then it's like, you know, you waited so long, so it kind of loses some legitimacy after a while, because you know they got some people that play like this Me Too card, like this but you wait so long to say anything at all. I don't know, like that's the thing. Like if something like this happens to you, speak up and say it, man. Don't wait until like years down the line, because then it's like you just bitching at the end of the day. Even if you are telling the truth, it comes off like you're trying to gain something from it. You know what I mean? And even if that's not the case, don't wait. You know what I mean? Just speak on it immediately. The sooner the better. You know what I mean? Like, don't wait until things happen and then you let it go, because then it's like you just are okay with it. You know what I mean? And if you're not okay with it, just say something. You know what I mean? You may not get the punishment. They may not get the punishment that you feel they deserve, but something's going to happen. You know, at the end of the day. You know, and in fact, there's so many people had video footage of this girl doing this, and the companies that were sponsoring this girl. It's like there's no way you didn't look at the footage of her doing this stuff and decided that, you know, you were going to wait until all this stuff popped up, and you know what I mean, and then you were going to do something. You know what I mean? You had the video footage. How come you didn't do nothing when it was on film? You know what I mean? Why wait until there was this big uproar? You know what I mean? So that comes to question the legitimacy of the people that were sponsoring her, the companies that were sponsoring her. You know what I mean? You can clearly see this shit happening in the videos that were up for, you know, in many cases years or months, and you didn't say anything. You didn't do anything then. So why wait until people come out and speak against the shit? And you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that just, it don't sit well with me. When it comes right down to it, man, you know, understand that it's always going to be a community of people that come with the intention of over-sexualizing that community. You know what I mean? Like the example I gave with Twitch, we gave with YouTube, the cosplayer community, the video game community, etc., etc. You know what I mean? I've seen girls come to like video game tournaments looking hoed out, and that's like the best way I can describe it, being hoed out. Come there dressed like they looking for dick and a problem, and you know, get mad when they get approached by some dudes with those intentions that you're dressing like. You know, of course, just because you're dressed that way doesn't mean that's who you are. But then again, if that's not who you are, why the hell are you dressed like that to begin with? I'm just saying. But shout out to Dave Chappelle, because that shit is fucking confusing. But luckily, I never got caught up in no situation like that. I'm not that desperate. So really, it's just a subject that I think people need to be more encouraged to talk about, because I know some people who are the people that are getting violated like that, sometimes they feel like, oh, because of the popularity of the person that did it, something may not happen, and it's just going to get swept under the rug, or the person or the victim is going to get looked at like, you know, oh, you're lying because we like this person, we got to know them, they never did it to anybody else, so how would it, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't favor that it would happen to you. You know, even with a guy like, you know, just recently, I think like earlier this year, you know, Terry Crews, you know, he announced that he was at a party, and like a Hollywood agent, you know, a Hollywood agent, you know, now when you look at Terry Crews, he's like a big, strong, you know what I'm saying, down to like a 2% body fat type of dude. I mean, like he cut, like he built. So you would think somebody would know better than to try to come at him like that in fear that this big dude is gonna rough them up to say the least. But yeah, it was a Hollywood agent that, you know, he was at like a party or something, and the dude licked his lips at, you know, licked his tongue at Terry. So the dude, you know, he thought he was just playing, so he went over there to talk to him and see what was going on. The dude just reached down and grabbed his you know, his crotch, and it was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it took for his wife to get him out of there and to calm him down, because obviously you know what would have happened if Terry would have, you know what I'm saying, really got his hands on dude like the way he wanted to. But he didn't went to Congress, he didn't went to, you know what I mean, like he didn't spoke out publicly about the situation. And it's like, when you look at a dude like Terry Crews, again, American society, they put this idea in your head that a guy like him doesn't mind having, you know, being sexually harassed. You know what I mean? You know, regardless if it's by a dude or a woman. You know, regardless if he's gay or not, he isn't. But you know what I mean? They just put it in their head, in people's heads, that, you know, no matter what, the man is supposed to act like an adult and the woman is supposed to act like a child. And because of that, women get away with a lot of shit that they shouldn't be getting away with in society. Case in point with this Momokun situation, and her just, you know, sexually harassing all these people up until now. And it took for whoever, I don't remember the name of the guy or the gal who was brave enough to step up and say that, yo, this person did this to me. And then it just came, you know, it came with the snowball effect that everybody else that it happened to, they came forward because this person came forward. You know, like, you know, at the very least, something happened. I'm just happy that something happened. You know what I mean? Because if you're going around violating people like that, I think Mel B just got, you know, sexually harassed by a white dude on the couch, like on live television. Like the dude was reaching over, like had his arm, looked like he had his, I guess from her angle, it looked like the dude had his arm just like hanging on the back of the couch, but his arm was actually on her booty. And then you see it in the video that he's just grabbing the girl, squeezing the girl's butt, and she backed up and moved to the side. And like, you know, it's just one of those, you know, I mean, that shit right there is just crazy to me. How people feel like, you know, when people do that type of shit, you know, they've been getting away with it for so long, and it's so commonplace in their head that people are just going to be okay with doing that to them, or they will be okay with doing that to somebody else, that nothing's going to happen. And you would think that, you know, people would be more respectful to other people's spaces, but, you know, I'm a realist at the end of the day. You know, other people aren't going to be rational thinkers. You know, people aren't going to be rational thinkers like that in today's world, where it seems like common sense is just so fucking out of left field now, to the point where we can't get it back. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you know, good luck getting it. You know what I mean? It's just like people doing shit and being so bold. The thing that's crazy about it is like the boldness behind the shit. It's just like, really, like, this is what y'all do? But it's crazy, man. I don't want to run on too long about talking about this. I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. But yeah, man, like Mugen Lord said, keep your hands to your damn self, people, because eventually you're going to come across the wrong one. And if they slap the shit out of you, or even worse, that's on you. So, ladies and gentlemen, peace, keep on gaming, and I will see you guys next time.